time to strap in and get ready. The leaders in NRL Supercoach are incoming. Bringing you the ultimate insight to help you win your leagues and climb up the rankings. You're now listening to the Insight NRL Show with your hosts, Brain, Mattrix, and Whisperer.
Hello and welcome to the Insight NRL Show. I'm the Supercoach Mattrix. I'm here with the Whisperer. Braino's going away for a week with work. Josh, I see the crown on your head. Fill us in. How was your weekend?
Good, mate. Good. I was prepared. I had it. I was ready to go in case the clown hat needed to come out. But it's very convenient that Mr. Brain is not here, considering he is supposed to be wearing the clown wig. But we'll make sure he definitely gets it on. Yeah, mate. 1184. Not too bad. Not too great. Somewhere in the middle. Tigers lost, which was annoying. But hey, is what it is. Very eventful Sunday, which I'm sure we'll dissect. But how are you, mate?
Yeah, good. Yeah, a bit of a quiet weekend after obviously being away last week. Got to watch lots of footy. It's been wet, of course. The weather was a bit of our theme on our Wednesday night podcast. But 11:43, pretty happy considering I hold those really expensive three Knights players that were on a bye this week. So I had Ponga, Sharp and Marju out. Scraped through. I thought it was going to be an absolute stinker. Was sort of like forced to play blokes like Shibasaki and Seyfarth that I wasn't that keen on. And then they've been my top scorers. So sometimes it's better to be lucky than good. Let's be honest.
Yeah. It's similar to round one when people held Tino and they played Tamale or Toya and they killed it as well. So it's good to see your cheapies came in well for you. Yeah, I held KP. Trades that I made. Traded out Preston, which annoying. Traded out Iongi, which I was tossing and turning over. I didn't really want to trade out Iongi, but worked out for the better. And I traded out Lucas, brought in Matty Nicholson, brought in someone else that did not a whole lot, and brought in James Tedesco. So, yeah, mixed bag of trades. Obviously, trading out Presto is not ideal. I held Hopgood, but hey, you live and you learn. Didn't know he was going to move to the left. That would have changed my trade thinking. But, mate, we got plenty to just dissect. We got the first game of the round. Bunnies 28, Panthers 18. First and foremost, mate, as a Broncos fan, I'm sure you're asking yourself, where was this Penrith performance in the 2023 grand final?
I was, but I tell you what, I do really enjoy just watching them lose. It's hard and it feels cruel, but when you've been at the top of your game for so long, it's so great to see the mighty fall. And I had a lot of questions in my DMs and just random questions getting asked, oh, geez, if Panthers are this bad, do you even want to be holding Cleary? But Cleary is so good that I think they win this game if Nathan Cleary plays. So there's that.
This game makes me want to hold Cleary even more because it just shows you, with all due respect to Jack Cole, if he's coming out and putting out 105, then fuck, what's Cleary doing? And he's a guy that I'm definitely prioritizing next week. And that's before we go over the scores. Got this question plenty of times this weekend, and I'm sure I'll answer it for people out there. If your captain is your lowest scoring player, they will drop out, and it's then tough tits. You don't get a captain, or you get your lowest player times 2. I can't remember which one it is exactly, but you don't get your VC times 2. So anyone that did captain Turbo out there, and if he is your lowest scoring, it's unfortunate, but you don't get your VC times 2. But
sorry, Pierce, stay away from tall buildings.
Yeah, it's a rough one out there for Taylor captainers. Keon Kolomatangi, 85 for him. Shout out to him. Dave Moali, 71. Jai Gray, 69. None of these guys are overly relevant. But Pete Mamazelis, mate, dudded of 8 points on the bell. Wrongly, I think he was wrongly sin bin. I don't think it was actually him that committed the foul, and he had to go take a seat to the sideline, and that cost owners 8 points. If you lose your head-to-head by 7 points this week and you own Mamazelis, your rope will come tomorrow morning.
Yeah, you'd be spewing. I probably need a formal apology to Pete. He's been really good. But yeah, look, I think you've missed the boat on him now if you haven't got him. But just good to see him playing good footy. Tavi Ali not that relevant, and Jai Gray, I suppose, was a draft king. We're going to get a lot of questions about Keon Kolamatangi this week, and it's probably just these 2 weeks away. Had that really high break even, and let's just see if he can do it for a little bit longer before we get too excited on Keon. Hey.
Yeah, so we'll probably come down to around that 565 mark, which is probably where he's almost going to bottom out. Pete Mamazolis, yeah, I'm pretty, if I can speak, feeling pretty happy about this one because I was firmly in the camp that he's a better buy over someone like a Humphreys as well. And that minus 27 break even, as you can see on screen there, he'll go up to probably 440, 450. And yeah, that price, I can't be touching it. Jai Arrow 64. AJ, good to see AJ back, scored a try. And then did his shoulder, but the Roosters are pretty good. The Rabbitohs are pretty confident that nothing structural is too bad there. So could be back next week or just a week or two on the sideline.
I'll give you and JG a shout out on that one. You pointed out on our Over the Cap podcast that comes out weekly, and AJ at over $2 odds,
Mate.
and look, didn't play half the game and still finds the try line. Like absolute great weekend from you fellas.
Yeah, not a couple bets let us down, but $2.25. That's the first and last time I think you'll ever see AJ over $2. So yeah, glad that we jumped on that, and I definitely had a fair bit on there, but not a whole lot else of relevance from the Bunnies. Over on the Panthers side of things, mate, Jack Cole, 105. Like I said, Cleary back next week against the Cowboys. I know he's got a monster break even, but I'm still going out of my way to target him. Like I've said in the WhatsApp chat a couple of times to our Patreon backers that like we rolled the dice to fade Cleary. We ran the gauntlet and it worked. But like gambling in a casino, mate, you can come out winning every now and then, but over the long haul, you're gonna come out losing. And I feel like I can't fade Cleary for too many more weeks. Just watching this performance.
Yeah, no, we can't. It's got to be. You've got to get Cleary. You can't get Jack Cole. Like he might go up a little bit and you might be extremely frustrated with one Luke Metcalf or somebody like that. You know, you might be really pissed off that Munster scored poorly. But look, if Cleary misses time, I think that this is enough for us to say that we should get Jack Cole. But with Cleary coming back into the team, yeah, absolute no chance. Honestly, there wasn't that much relevant. To'o's injured.
Yeah. I want to talk on Lindsay Smith because a few people are throwing him up as a potential buy. I'm not keen. I feel like he's been blessed a couple of times. Like this Sharks game, he was blessed with, I think a HIA happened. In the Melbourne game, HIA happened to Cleary, so the bench rotation was thrown out. And then again, the injury to Scott Sorensen this week. He's been getting like 60, 56. I think he played big minutes again on the weekend. He's gone 73, 40, 76, 71. But those big games are, those minutes are a little bit of an outlier. So for me, I'm not keen on Lindsay Smith, especially at, what was he, 550 heading to this 48 break even. He'll be like 570, 575. I think if you started with him, fantastic, take the points, but he's not a guy that I'm looking to buy at all. Tom Jenkins is a guy, obviously, of huge relevance. Matty, thought he played exceptional last week at fullback, thought he played exceptional this week at centre. Isaac Tungo was not good. Dane Laurie wasn't good either. Like if Dylan Edwards isn't back next week, I think there's a real chance that you have Jenkins at fullback. You probably might have two McLeans come in, both Jesse and Casey as well. Minus 46 break even this week. Milky scored 69 this week. Mate, his break even to be close to minus 100 at 215K.
Must own.
Originally, I was looking at a guy like Shibasaki, but that gravy train now has continued to roll one more time. So maybe we look at a Toya. Maybe we look at even a Tamale. He got a 70 this week, so that cash gen's going to keep going. So for me personally, I'm looking at a Asako just to jump off. But if you had a guy like Toya, I think he's a great jump off. People are talking about Jesse Arthurs, mate, and we'll touch on the Broncos game in due course. But I think you might get one more wave of Jesse Arthurs. But apart from that, mate, not a whole lot to talk about here. We've chatted about Isaiah Yeo multiple times.
Alamotti was added by a lot of guys and just a bit disappointing. I think that it was disappointing because of how poorly they played. I think he will get his once Cleary and that is back. He wouldn't be an automatic sell this week. So.
I agree. Apart from that, mate, not a huge amount of relevance here. Moving into the Chookies and the Titans. I was at this game. I hemorrhaged very, very hard on a certain 865K fullback, and it It went okay. Not the greatest. He was on 72 at halftime, and I was over the moon.
Yeah, and he was good in a loss, like, which gives me confidence in fullbacks, like, and is a little bit of a pod for you there, mate, because not very well owned. Mate, Tedesco is Tedesco, but yeah, you'd like to probably see the Roosters play a bit better footy to see Tedesco up his scores there. The Titans impressed, but it was like playing football in the middle of a lake in this game.
Yeah, so I went to this game, but it was just like it was just tough. Like I deliberately sat myself at the end the Roosters attacked to, and then I swapped at halftime so I could watch shape a little bit better. And Sanders Smith just burnt Teddy so many times. Like they hit short, they hit unders, they hit crash balls all day long. And Chad Townsend's fifth tackle kicking was really, really poor this game. So like pretty much teams did what I think teams need to do to the Dragons. They just jammed Tedesco and took him out of the game. So he had to create space for himself, and he got a few of those line breaks in the middle. So happy with that. But yeah, definitely 72 at halftime. I was looking for a captaincy loop this week, and it didn't materialize, but hey, you live and you learn. Angus Crichton, 78. Naf White, mate, 77. He's been unreal. The start of the first game of the year, 43. We were like, oh, it's a bit, how you going? Then 56, 86, and then 77 this week. Couple of attacking stats in both those weeks, but he's looked really good for the Roosters. He's looked much better than Lindsay Collins, who we thought potentially would take minutes off him. Spencer Lenius not a guy to play massive minutes either, so he's looked unreal.
Yeah, and I think that he is shaping in to be the leader of this pack going forward, which I didn't see happening. But yeah, he's leading from the front, looks great, going to get handy price rises, and I'm super disappointed that I haven't owned him this year.
Oh, you don't
No, he's one of the guys that got away. I had like Aaron Clark and blokes like that. I was just like, a bit more consistent. And then Leniu got suspended, and I was like, Lenu's just going to come in, and Naf White's just going to be playing not that alpha dog role that he's playing. So, look, I've been impressed. Zach Docker-Clay, 71 at 270K. That's always sensational.
Yeah, I mean,
for
it's
people
annoying for Connor Watson owners, isn't it? Because obviously that should have been him. Just on Naf, mate, you said you don't own him, and I guess we'll probably get a couple of questions this week about what to do with him. Had a -10 break even heading into this week, scored 77, so that's a differential of 87. Probably goes up to around nearly 500K. If you were going to buy it, was this week, because he only went up 60K in price, and I could still justify 424, but I can't justify 500.
Yeah, and I've already spent too many trades on front row forward. I've got Tino in the second row at the moment, but you know what? I've got these stacked guns, and if I miss out on some cash generation from Naf White, I'm sad, but it's not the end of the world when I jumped on a cheap ass and I've got a underpriced Terrell May and I got an underpriced Tino, and Corey Horsburgh's doing the things that he does. Like, yeah, it's not the end of the world.
Yeah, 100%. We'll rattle through a couple. Zach Docker-Clay, you mentioned. Mark Nwanganituwaze. He looked good, defensively suspect at times, but attacking-wise, he's very good. Dom Young, 70. Victor Radley, 66. He's going to be out for us a prolonged period of time. Yet another HIA, and I think he had a facial fracture as well. Suo Wong, 62. Sanders Smith, 57. Gets that cash still moving along. -3 break even this week. Should go up about 40K, up to around 340-ish. So just slowly ticking away. He'll be a slow burn. And Robert Toyer, 45, mate. So he is 277 with an 18 break even. There was a question in the chat here from Chris Gray. Is there more fat in Toyer as opposed to Tamale? I got one to trade out this week. Look, you'll get more cash out of Tamale, but I probably think Toyer is the one that would have to make way for Jenkins, personally.
Yeah, I do think so. I think Toyer long term could be really good, but it's just not going to happen in a hurry. Like in round 11, if he's still 420K, I wouldn't be surprised. I think, Tamale might jump in cash quicker to get you to some other guys for the game of Supercoach. So, yeah, look, if you had to jump off one of these guys for Jenkins, I'd be completely fine with jumping off Robert Toyer with the way that the Roosters have looked.
So Robert Toyer is going to have a break-even next week of approximately 26, as opposed to someone like Savilio Tamale, whose break-even is going to be around that 15. Tamale's going to make you bet 50K this week, so there's probably more money on top of Tamale's head, but I think that 70 is going to start ticking in that rolling average for another 3 weeks, whereas Toya is going to have that, if I can find my tab, there we go. He's going to have that 26 average from last week and next week too, so the break-even won't be as low as Tamale's, and we'll have a 45. So for me, I'd probably sell Toya. Apart from that, mate, not a huge amount to chat about here from the Chookies. From the Titans, mate, Tino Fa'asuamaleaui with the most fraudulent 77 of all time. Our WhatsApp chat, there was plenty in there that were fading, and they were buzzing at the 75th minute mark when he was on 40 points, and then bit of razzle dazzle, left, right, boom, try, 31 points. Thanks for coming, and it just put that score on its head.
Deserves it. Here's my vice captain in this one. Look, I just wanted to play big guys in the middle. I was scared of the whole Turbo situation, which panned out fucking fantastic. But I just thought it would be forwards that are the flavour of this. I couldn't see like a Jesse Arthur scoring 130. You couldn't see Yarosakos and those sort of guys scoring real well. So yeah, look, Tino 77. Did he get bailed out with a try? Yeah, he had a negative break even. He's naff white money, to be honest. Let's put it into perspective there. He was a great get, and owners will be happy. David Fafita in his minutes there, 65. Look, I don't think there's a lot of relevance in talking about Sam Verrills and Philip Sami. I was kind of hoping that he would score a little bit less as he plays these less minutes so that he drops in cash a bit more, but he's just that good, so...
Yep, 63 for both the halves, boys, mate. Both got runaway tries at the end. So pretty much 46 points without the tries for both of those. A lot of people are looking at jumping on Jaden Campbell next week. He will be approximately about 705K. I don't know. I'm not sure, personally.
I'm probably not going to. Look, I could use a good 5'8", and I know that Munster has disappointed this week, but man, is Jaden Campbell really the answer? Like,
yeah,
pumped him by 30 in a game that we really thought... Like, Brimson's points were junk. He could have very easily, watching this game, have scored 18. But Jaden Campbell is the leader of this team. If you do want a bite of the Titans and you believe in them, I would go. I'm just... scared of 700K, like that's what you're paying for.
Yeah. So
Nico, like
this is my thing. This is my thing, right? And this is what you were talking about this week about playing a man short because you're not keen to take a suboptimal option. And I'm gonna have Dewey. I'm gonna have Metcalf next week. Look, Dewey's most likely gonna be out, and Metcalf has the bye, so I'm gonna be a man short. I'm not really though. I'm only gonna be playing 17, which is what we played last year. And for me, no 5'8" option is really screaming out at me. I do like to look at Lockie Galvin, but the Tigers draw does get a little bit pooey moving forward. I think we play you boys next week, and then I think we still have the Eels and the Knights in there as well. But there's a couple of tough games mixed in. It's just I'd rather not make a suboptimal trade and buy Campbell because he's the flavor of the week. It's why I guess I didn't buy Guthard this week as well, because I don't really see him as a long-term keeper. I didn't want to be paying 650K for a cash grab. So it was sort of a mish and mash. And that's sort of how I feel with JC. It's just I don't think he's going to be a season keeper, not from what I'm looking at right now. And I don't know if I want to be pulling apart my team, making a boost for the sake of bringing him in just to fill a spot. I'd rather just play a man short and have my loop threshold just be a little bit lower.
Yeah, and to be completely honest, I might have been wearing my hat backwards and the crown on my head if I didn't play Duffy and Cleary. But, like, did whatever I did with the money I had to get, like, an extra 40 points or whatever, like, it wouldn't have really made a difference to me this week. And, like, yeah, I copped Hamish Stewart's 26. Like, best case scenario, I end up burning a trade or two to get those extra 50 points this week. Just the way with flex just allows you that flexibility to do that. So yeah, if you're copping an NPR or whatever you want to call it in 5/8 next week, it's not the end of the world. I just made it through the week, and and it would have been Brando wearing the clown hat, not me. So that's what we measure everything on nowadays: crowns and clowns.
Exactly. Yeah. You want to be somewhere in the middle. You want to be a hat forward, just a 7 out of 10 kind of guy. But yeah, that's my things. That's my feelings on JC. I'm not going to go there personally because I don't have 700k sitting up my ass, and I don't want to have to rip apart my team to get it to make a sub. If I had 300k in the bank, yeah, like if it's one trade, of course, but for me, it's not. For you, it's one trade, then by all means, go for it. But for me, it would require a boost. It would require fading Cleary against the Cowboys, and that's just something I don't want to do. It's stressful enough not owning Turbo, let alone not owning Cleary and Turbo. Apart from that, mate, both of them for the 50. Not a whole lot else to chat about here.
Can we just talk about De Groot?
Groot.
Yeah, he didn't impress me. I played him in fantasy this week. I'm not the biggest fan. I think Hayes Perham made him. Hayes Perham looked so much better in the preseason game that I saw with De Groot this year. But yeah, look, you just look another week. If you went early on him, you don't panic. This was, of course, played in the extreme wet, and I think that running a flat track, he could be like a poor man's Jai Gray, perhaps somebody like that. So yeah, I said poor man's, but yeah, just wait and see. I'll make the decision in 2 weeks' time. You don't need to stress and add De Groot. But if you're looking at downgrades at guys, it's too early to get him, because if he's just a guy that's pumping out 30s, even when he's playing fullback, you don't want him. And if he's pumping out 30s, to be completely honest, AJ Brimson will probably get moved to the back, and you play Tom Weaver or someone like that.
The thing is, with cash cows, like, it's all well and good that a player, and this is like the whole Cody Ramsey meme on my part, because I moved to heaven and earth to get Cody Ramsey when he was playing fullback for the Dragons. It's all well and good to like have cash cows, but if they're not making cash, they're just shit. Like they're just nuts. They're literally just a pain in your ass. Like, it's all well and good to be like, oh my god, this center wing has got he's like 220k and like he's starting every week. But if he's scoring 27 points every week, then it's like, well, I've wasted a trade and he's just I can't loop, and it's just a fucking nightmare. So yeah, I mean, look at roll, look at points. It's different in the preseason. Like, if we knew Kawakini was out the whole season, we start with De Groot 1,000% because it doesn't cost us a trade to bring him in. But yeah, he's just not a guy that I'm keen on. Apart from that, mate, not much to talk about in this Titans game. This game was very rough. The Battle of Brisbane. The Finns up against the Broncos. Broncos hat. Rage hat comes off. Broncos hat comes on. We'll talk about the bottom feeding team for a minute, then I'll let you glaze over the Broncos. We've got Max Plath with a 76. I'm not really sure what's going on with this rotation. He's playing a bit of edge. He's playing a bit of middle. Gilbert's playing a bit of middle, bit of edge. It's a bit weird. Herbie Farnworth with a 69. I thought he was really bad this game.
It's amazing that he can score nearly 70 by just existing out there. He is a point in attack. Yeah, I do think Stags kind of made him his bitch this game. So, yeah, a bit disappointing. But Herbie owners, look, yeah, banging out a 70. Look, you lose 10K.
Oh, yeah.
Like, all power to you.
From a Supercoach perspective, sure. I just thought in the NRL, like in real life, he just wasn't good. Like, he's just a one-man team, isn't he? Hamiso is not helping him, and they're just ripping into him, and he's just doing nothing. Averillo 68, DSAF 65, Felice Kafusi 56. Mate, this team's just a bunch of nothings. Tom Gilbert with a line break and a 54. You've just got to sell him.
Yeah, he's just mid. I don't even know if you need to sell him. You might have bigger problems, but he's just not the guy that you thought
he would be. Like tackles.
Yeah.
In one 100%. Line break. Like his line break points were lost in missed tackles.
Yeah. Yeah, it's time. Honestly, he's just not the guy that he was before. And honestly, the Dolphins aren't the team that they were before when he was playing. So that's a bit, call it Uncle Wayne, call it whatever you want. Mate, you got to scroll down a bit to see Jermaine Asako. I know you and I both played in this week.
This absolute... Mate, round one. How good were we round one? We were loving life, and now he's going to lose me fucking 70K. I'm going to lose 100K on my Jermaine Asako investment, so shout out to him. He's gone next week. I will be selling against the Titans, but then it's Penrith, Melbourne, Raiders in Canberra. It's a pretty tough 3-week stretch. Yeah, it happens, like this happens. I mean, Asako for me was never a keeper, but he was a guy that I was definitely targeting with the draw. Like if we look at the draw to start the season, I can't now because my internet is dying. Shout out to Vodafone. Yeah, well, I mean, we can forget about them, but let's talk about Shibasaki, mate, because I'll tell you what, a lot of Dean Mariner stan accounts on Twitter this weekend were having some head noise.
Yeah, they were. Look, Shibasaki was absolutely unreal. Why was he not green? Because we're screen sharing from Josh's brainer, not mine. But yeah, look, 116. Look, I think that it was a little bit of the elements too. You couldn't get it out to the wingers. Like, you couldn't get it out to Asako. You couldn't get it out to Arthur's. We saw Arthur's run down the sideline at that one point and just get taken in a touch, honestly, nearly through no fault of his own. So, yeah, it was just played a little bit more in the centres. The centres were playing like wingers in this one for Herbies, your Avarillos, your Shibasakis. But he was great. He's kept his spot, and I think that he could just be a guy that we see in the centres at the end of the year, which I didn't see coming at the start of the year. So basically, we got a playable centre.
Is he playable? That's what I played this week because like I had strong fears that Skelton wouldn't play. But like, is he a guy that you can put at centre wing for now?
Yeah, I think that he's playable every week with how good the Broncos kind of look in attack. I know that like you look at 12-20 and you don't get too excited, but they do look really good in attack. And yeah, I think that he is playable most weeks if he has a favourable matchup. But it's going to be through try assists, everything like that. He's not going to, barnstorm over like your Katoni Staggs and your Herbie Farnworths. But I think he does enough at his price that you can play him every week.
So he is going to make owners about $90,000 this week, which would mean he is up to around 410. Mate, he is going to have a break even next week of approximately -50. That gravy train keeps on moving,
mate. And like that's probably why I'm not sitting in the corner crying about Jermaine Asako, because as much as we lost over Asako, we've made it back.
Make it in Shiba.
Yeah, in Sheba. So didn't call that at the start of the year, but no, Sheba, I'm excited. He's good. I think he's playable. Payne Haas was my captain this week.
He's pretty good. He's pretty good at football.
He's pretty like that. Is that his lowest score all year?
Actually, I think it might be 82. Let's have a look. Season stats for a front row forward. He has gone 104, 99. 82 is his worst score. That's actually fucking insane.
Yeah, that's your front row forward one, ladies. Oh, maybe two. We've got to have some Terrell May chat later. But look, it is the year of the front row forward again. I am happy to say I was wrong. And look, especially when I saw how wet the weekend was, I was fine to captain a front row forward. I still think that he's a buy at, what's he going to be at, 830, 840?
You think?
It's a lot.
He's going to be 777. He's going to make approximately 60K this week. So that'll be 840 with a break even of 45. Still at 840, that means he's priced at an 82, which is what he just scored.
Which is the lowest score of the year.
Yeah, he's still a buy.
Yeah, 100%. He is still a buy.
Insane to say that we're advocating for buying a front row forward at 840K. That is absolutely cooked. I didn't want to buy Teddy at 840K. Jordan Ricky, 72, Stags, and his first came back, 68, Pakes with a 64. Sorry, shout out to Tony Stags, who absolutely fucking butchered me. Had Cobbo wide open and then just decided to go himself so he could do his little, oh, look at me, this is my celebration. Fuck you. Moving on, that's my
Jordan Ricky and Stags. I have Jordan Ricky, Stags, and Preston in all my draft leagues.
Nice. A good week to be you. Also, good week to be Jack Gashevsky owners. 267K, 34 break even. Scored a 59. His break even is going to be approximately 5 next week after making 15K. So, it's not quite Garen Shibasaki numbers, but it's moving.
Yeah, and he is a forward. It's not going to fluctuate as much. And what I really liked from Madge is, well, I think it was 2 weeks ago, Goss was just playing like poo. So he just pulled him off. But Goss was playing really good this game, and he just got extended minutes, to be completely honest. Like, you know what? Coaches don't do that enough. They just stick to the game plan, but they're like, hey, I've got a second rower in the wings, or I could just play the second rower that's playing really well. Let's
Play
just
the
do
hot
that.
hand.
Yeah.
Mate, I think officially we can say that Reece Walsh has now bottomed out. 149 break even this week, scored a 53. Will go down approximately $80,000, which will put him at around 600K with a break even of 70 next week. What are your mobbers draw look like? I think you play us, which is pretty good. You also play the Roosters at Suncorp. You play the Warriors over in NZ. You play the Broncos in Queensland. You play the Panthers in Queensland. You play South at core. You're back and play the Dragons, and then you play Manly at Four Pines, and then you play the Titans. So you've got a pretty good run, pretty much up until your bye, which is in 15, or you got to buy in 12 and then a buy in 15. Probably would look to sell in round 11 if you own if you're looking at buying Reece Walsh, because he will go off to Origin. But mate, yeah, it's officially Walsh bottoming out.
Yeah, I think so. And like, he is always going to be one of these guys that does that. I wasn't actually that disappointed with 56 in the wet this week. I think there's, looking at socials, there's been a lot of knee-jerk reactions like, I'm going to trade Arthurs, I'm going to trade Walsh, I'm going to do all this. We got to remember that there was just a monsoon over the East Coast this week. So, yeah, all those, like, 56 in the wet, and like my cousin was at the game, went home at halftime because it was just so wet. Yep. Like, yeah, honestly, like, that's an 80 or 90 on a normal game. If you want to talk about Cobbo, go nuts. Otherwise, we can talk about Jesse Arthurs.
Yeah, I mean, Cobbo's just whatever. I mean, I'm really impressed with 38. I think the BP was quite good. Break even at 88, so he'll lose me like 50K or 40K, so he'll be like just over 500. Like, not going to sell. That draw was too good. And the tries will come. You know, attack reliant center wings. This happens. You just need to be prepared. We'll talk Jesse Arthurs probably a bit more at length because he's, I guess, a guy on the tip of everyone's tongues. Minus 14 break even this week, so he will still make us. Goodness, where is he on my little notes? Jesse Arthurs will have a break even next week of approximately 60 and made us 35K this week. I'm not selling. Jesse Arthurs. If Jesse Arthurs falls over for a try, you get 60. So, yeah, I'm not selling.
Yeah, 100%. Like, and that's what I was sort of saying.
I will caveat, if you need cash, he's the one that I would sell, but it's fine. He's very much fun to hold.
Yeah, and like, have a look. We just went through the matchups. Like, if you circle, what was it, round 9 against the Bulldogs or something, and you don't want to play him that week, at 500K, like, hopefully we've got some puff in there, and you can just start to sit guys on a matchup that you aren't that excited about. I think the way that the Broncos are playing and the way that they're favouring that side, which is evident in, you know, Selwyn Cobbo, what's he, starting to lose money, and Jesse Arthur's meteoric rise in cash. Yeah, I think he's just a guy that you can play on matchups, and then when you want to sell him, he might be 550K, and you can get somebody a little bit more consistent if that's the way you like to play.
But also, like, people are fixated with, like, selling high. Like, everyone's fixated with, like, I have to sell at the peak. Like, in reality, like, you're never selling a center wing who's playing. Who did I say you're playing next? You're never selling a Broncos center wing that plays the Tigers. Like, let's be honest. Like, you're just not. No matter what the break even is, and the break even is going to be 60. If he scores 40 next week, fine. You know, you lost 15K on the peak, and then you can sell. It's like, I'm still probably going to target that matchup. I'm saying probably because he was in my trade plans initially, because I don't think I want to sell Cobbo. I think I want to realize some equity on him. But, you know, Arthurs is an absolutely fine hold. Apart from that, mate, not a whole lot. Kobe Headington, get him in the bin. He is done as an option. Move him on. And
sorry to those people that added Renault.
Yeah, I was going to say, shout out to everyone who sold Clearer, I made a very, like, opinionated post the other day saying, like, look, do whatever you want to do in Supercoach, but don't fucking sell Cleary. And everyone's like, no, I'm selling for Reynolds because, like, you know, I'll make so much cash. You made a whopping
20K.
20K? Shout out to you. Yeah, don't sell Cleary. Not even for Hines. I wasn't keen to sell for Hines this week, not with the water around. Mate, Dragons 14, Storm 8. This was a weird game. You can see my Harry Grant's highlighted in orange, and we can have a chat on him because I got blessed with some updates. We saw Val 71. Yeah, mate. Yeah, Val 71, Cookie 54, Little 54, Jaden Sewer, 49. Also, quickly, is this a hot take to say that Jacob Little's the best hooker at the club?
Oh, 100%. I fucking love, like, Little come on and, well, he scored the match-winning try. Let's be honest.
He just looked better, though, too.
Yeah, like, I know you've played Damien Cook now and you have to play him, but surely there's a lot of clubs lining up to throw some money at Jacob Little. He looked great.
Yeah, mate, he'd be unreal at, like, I don't know, the Titans?
Yeah,
like Sam
definitely.
Barrels is fine, but like, who else needs a 9? The Roosters? I guess they got Robson. Actually, the Cowboys. The Cowboys need a 9.
Yeah, Jacob Little, wheels up.
Throw, go to Little and be like, hey, here's $550K a year, and he'll be like, oh fuck yeah, let's go live up in Townsville.
Yeah, exactly. It's beautiful this time of year.
We see Jed Stewart. Oh yeah, we'll talk Gutho.
We're going to talk about.
Mate, it was a weird one with Gutho. He finished on, I think, 47, got downgraded to 31, and then within about half an hour got upgraded to 47 again. Very confusing. But I guess if I said to owners, hey, you're going to buy Gutho against Melbourne in the pissing wet with a minus 48 break even and he gets you 50 points, you'd take that all day.
Yeah, like I was stoked with a captain of 80, so yeah, you definitely would have. I was cheering when I saw 31 though, as a guy that didn't buy him. But yeah, it's the same sort of thing. Like I think that Clint Guthan is a 600K fullback, and you're buying him at 650 because you're seeing that he's going to go up. I just wasn't willing to burn another trade to make said 100K. But kudos to you who did. Maybe you think the Dragons are better than I do. They did pretty well to hold on against the Storm. I felt like the Storm, even when they were down, I just felt like the Storm were going to win this one. But yeah, they didn't. Toby Couchman, 46. Clemmer.
I just want to
what did he play? 30 minutes at the start?
Yeah, something like that. I don't really care at Clemmer. I want to talk on Gutho because Jay Schubert over on Twitter is projecting Gutho with a 43 break even next week. He's going to make you about 80K this week, right? And this was my whole thing with Gutho. It's like, if we get 2 poor back-to-back scores, then the break even's 100 and we're back to square one. In saying that, though, it was a very, very difficult watch not owning him because he is very, very involved and he looks very, very good. So if you bought him, fantastic. If you didn't buy him, I don't think it's the end of the world. But the Dragons' draw is pretty good. Apart from that, mate, Toby Couchman, 46 minutes dropped for him. But there is going to be a suspension to Emre Gula. So Emre Gula picked up a 3-week suspension. And young Hamish Stewart, facial fracture, 3 weeks by the sounds of it. So maybe there is some minutes for Couchman. So if you are an owner, I wouldn't panic too much. And if you own a Hamish Stewart, there's absolutely not enough cash on him to sell. So you hold him, you let him rot away at front row forward 4. If he comes back, fantastic, mate. Melbourne Storm, they were pretty dog shit.
Yeah, and do you think it was because like your blokes like Munster and that didn't get as involved? Like even Harry Grant, like I know I'm seeing 70 now and I'm happy because that's what I bought him to do. But to be completely honest, I don't think the big guys like Munster and Harry Grant put their hands up. Like Pappy always looks like he's trying. But Harry Grant and Munster just didn't put their hands up. And I think that they had this mentality that they were playing the Dragons. And they did always look in control. They did always look cool, calm, and collected. And then the siren went, and they're like, "Oh fuck, we just lost."
I think they defended their edges very, very well. There was a couple of times Blore went ever so close to scoring. I think Ilias did a really good job defending him, so shout out to him. But Harry Grant, mate, I will take it. In saying that, though, like I don't know if it's the copium, but like this could have been 100. Had Stefano held up over the line, had his try assist taken back because Gutho had a foot in the dead ball line. And also he chased a kick and he was basically a shoo-in for a try and it took like a wicked bounce and sort of skidded off the water. So maybe it's the copium talking, but yeah, he finished on 49. I thought that was way too low. He got dudded a few tackles and he got dudded a line break assist, which was given. So up to 70 in a week where I was tossing up captaining Haas, Hines, or Grant. I lost 12 points, which is not the end of the world. I was never looking at captaining Terrell May. So really it was down to those 3 and I lost 12 points because Haas got 82 or 84, sorry. So I lost 14 points. It's not the end of the world. Pappenhausen, 65. He got downgraded pretty hard, man. He was like 85 and lost a line break and a couple of tackle busts and stuff like that. Munster, 57. What are we doing with the Munster dog? 31 points. I think like a lot of people are still holding him to that round one score, 99 against the Eels, then 61 against Penrith and 57 this week. It's just, he just gets you 60, doesn't he? Like clockwork.
Yeah, he was priced at a 64 and got 57. Like completely fine. When you're riding the roller coaster of Metcalf and Dewey and all these other things, like I think that you can pencil Munster in for 60 every week. Yeah. And he's going to have those outlier games where he scores 100. I think he was actually 37 or 40 before updates. So he did get a bit of a boost this week. But yeah, this is him. This is 60. That's what you paid for. And with 5/8 being as volatile, as hard as it is, let's just take and appreciate your 60. So
I'm not taking and appreciating Stefano Toikamanu. Scored a 38 this week, which is pretty much bang in line with what he's done this season. Round 1 scored 34, round 3 scored 36, and this week scored 34. So he's just playing those minutes. He's getting a 1 ppm, and he's just not that guy. So yeah, we got that one wrong in the preseason. Jump off him as well. Oh goodness, we are only halfway through the round, so we'll try and rapid fire a couple of these ones. Cows, Raiders, Jake Clifford is just Jonathan Thurston. Tom Dearden has come back from the dead. Drinky just gets junk. Your boy, Johnny Bateman.
I fucking traded him this week.
75 for Johnny B.
I just saw the 68 break even, and it was trading out blokes like Seyfarth and stuff instead, or Aaron Clark, which I was trading out until this whole Dylan Walker playing up with someone's wife or whatever it was. But anyway, allegedly he left. But yeah, look, Bateman 75. That's great. You'd be happy if you're an owner there, even like just to see the Cowboys starting to hum. Talagi is going to bottom out at some stage at around that 500K. That could be really nice. Purdue scoring points. Robert Derby even getting his numbers out there. Like Cowboys do have some assets that you could want if they start to go on a run. Hey.
Yeah, I was keen on Robert Derby as potential Supercoach cheapie next week. I mean, 48 with a trying line break though. I'm just like, I can't be asked. Jackson Purdue played quite well, -10 break even, 51 points. Should go about 30K, still 330. I actually don't hate him as a buy now that we know his role. He's probably got more minutes under his belt. Like I was keen to fade him. I faded him for Shibasaki, so I'll take the W there. But Purdue was starting to hit straps. Nicholson 45. It's what you paid for. Make some money. Nearly scored 2 or 3 tries, so looks good on the eye. Tom Starling also looks pretty good as well, 44. It's what you get from him. He's a guy I wouldn't hate the idea of selling in a couple of weeks. I mean, his break even next week is going to be 52. So you can actually move this week if you wanted to. Yeah, I mean, I don't hate it. Just depends on what you have that hooker won. I have Harry Grant. I'm okay with Harry Grant for now. But mate, I want to talk Corey Horsburgh because I posted a little post on the weekend saying we need to get into the idea of maybe selling Corey Horsburgh sometime soon. 40 break even. He's going to make you 50K this week. So that's going to put us at about 480K. So we're going to make about 120 on him. I think it's not a Supercoach thing, but I feel like he's been quite poor discipline-wise. I feel like he's given away a couple of penalties at pretty crucial times. Obviously got sin bin last week, which really opened the game up for Manly. Do you see, I mean, with Hosking coming back as well, do you see the minutes drying up for Horsburgh, or do you think like Ricky is looking past these disciplinary issues? Because I'm just worried that with the history that Ricky and Horsburgh have, then we could start to see that drop off to 43, 44, 45 minutes a game rather than 60.
Yeah, and I think it could happen, but I do think like, what did he score? 65 this week. I do think if you're getting, like, if it does drop 10 minutes and you're getting a 53 or a 55, then you're going to have a few weeks to work out what you want to do with him. And, like, hopefully somebody like a Stefano has found some form or something along those lines then. But yeah, I think you've just got to appreciate if you treat him like a cheapie and not like Corey Horsburgh, then it's a completely different lens to look at him. Like if you look at him as if a guy that played reserve grade and punched a 17-year-old kid last year, you're like, geez, this is great.
Yeah. That's a fair analogy. Joe Tarpey 92 did escape any suspension or whatnot with his chicken wing, break even at 87 this week, so he'll be about 660k. Just not an option for me. Not with how many options
forwards again.
Mate, we have 75 forwards. It's just I'd rather just not pay for him. Savilio Tamale 78. Shout out to him. 9 points. Break even will go back quite down. Looking at a break even next week of 18. Make you 50k. That'll go even lower next week if he gets a somewhat decent score. So moving in the right direction. Apart from that, KO Weeks probably needs to spend some time in Cup. And disappointing if you jumped on Trey Mooney after his great score last week, only pumped out at 26. Will have a break even of -12, so nothing to write home about.
Do you owe me beer
for
Kai O'Donnell outscoring Johnny Bateman? Is that for the whole year? Or?
The season's still young. I do think I'll be down a 6-pack of Bolter though. I do not have confidence.
They come in 4-packs. You're off the hook.
Oh, sweet, even better. The Sharkies 6, the Dogs 20. Bad day to be a suburban street in Bankstown last night. It would have been going off like a frog in a sock. We do see Cam McInnes with an 82. Mate, Adam Blake, 78, break even of 108.
How?
I want him.
And what about Supercoach?
I want to buy him as well, mate. Like I said, there's a world where we just have Haas, AFB, Tino, and Terrell May. Lock and load.
And Tarpany through Origin?
Yeah, of course. What? Oh no, because we can just shift one of them down for the duels and we get Tarpany in there as well.
Yeah, perfect. I don't know what's happening in the world, but look, AFB, this was the game that you would see Cam McInnes and your forwards go so well. But look, AFB, yeah, you're right. He is just the guy you want. Hero was good. I don't know, the Sharks. I did not expect the Bulldogs to beat the Sharks in this one. Let's be,
mate. I used my Joker in my work tipping comp this week, and at the end of Saturday night, I was on 1. I finished the round on 2 tips. 2. So I got 4 points. I tipped 7 from 8 last week. I used my Joker and I got 2.
Yeah, so who'd you get? The Sea Eagles and the Broncos?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, nice. I don't know. The Sharks aren't great, but Nico Hines still managed to get a 60. He is somehow still gonna rise in cash at that 650. That's when people are get excited about a JC or something. Sharks just got pumped and Nico's still getting a 60.
I'd much rather Nico over JC.
That is, yeah. Thank you for leading me there.
And I don't even want Nico. I've been very open about being do not buy Nico Hines, and everyone's like, oh, you just trying to gatekeep him. I'm like, no, it's just. He's not worth 750k. It's just.
I just made a mistake an hour before the first Vegas game.
I got very drunk and had TK from the Talking League podcast, who basically stole my phone and traded out Cleary and put in Nico. He's a massive Sharks fan, and I will forever thank him because it worked out well. But he's a guy I'm happy to hold, but I'm not going out and advocating to buy him. A lot of people saying Cleary and were like, oh, I'm going to jump on Nico and get the cash grab. There's not that much cash to grab. The juice is squeezed. He's priced at what he's priced at.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. Jacob Preston, I made the graphic today and I actually forgot about Jacob Preston because I was glazing Shibasaki so much. But look, unreal. This is why you hold a guy like that. He's been a bee's dick away from some tries, and he did get moved to Kickour's side with Kickour out. So he'll go back to the other side, but I do still think that he could be a season-long keeper.
Mate, it's just... Oh, I had a mouthful of phlegm. It's just annoying because if we have this intel, I hold because he performs better on the left. He still performs fine on the right, but he performs much better on the left. And obviously that's where the ball goes. And this was the form that we saw from him in the preseason. And yeah, a lot of people were like, "Oh, I can't believe I jumped off." Like I jumped off because I needed money for Tedesco. Like I couldn't make it work without selling Preston. But I do think Preston's a season-long hold, and he's a guy that does rely on attack, and the attack came. Like it didn't come for the first 3 weeks, and then it finally did come, and everyone's like, "Oh, I can't believe I jumped off." But yeah, it just happens. Like it's just shit. Same with like Gutho. You know, people are like, "Oh, Gutho's done so well," and then I buy him, he does shit. And I'm like, it's just variance. Like it's unfortunate, but it happens. If you hold them long enough, you'll realize the equity. Especially with someone like Preston, who's a season keeper. Apart from that, mate, not a huge amount of Supercoach relevance from pretty much anyone apart from AFB, Hines, and Presto.
Oh, talk to me about Max King, bro. You know,
Oh, mate, Max King, he is the COV god. He is the new 12% COV. He has gone 54, 61, 55, 60. He's just safe as houses. He just what a draft pick. You know what you're gonna get from him. Mate, Sunday. This was a game. This had plenty of talking points. Top scored by Lehigh Hopewade. Moved to fullback. Ruben Garrick 64. Hamole Lakwadu 61.
So good. Congratulations to those who captained the fullback of Manly Sea Eagles.
Yeah.
Lehigh Hopewade.
Seeing a lot of people up in arms. They said they captained the fullback from Manly. I don't know what they're complaining about. 87. That's a great score this week.
Yeah, I'd be happy with that,
mate. Just keep scrolling. Tom Travojevic came into this game. So shout out to Brent in our WhatsApp chat. Said he was watching Channel 9. Firstly, why the fuck are you watching Channel 9? And secondly, he said that Turbo had an interview with Joey Johns, and Joey sort of brought up, he's like, "Hey, your knee's strapped. What's going on?" And Turbo's like, "Oh, yeah, I did it yesterday. I'll tell you about it later." And I was like, well, that's a bit of a concern. And then Brano and I were looking at the Manly footage from yesterday's training run, and they had like 15, 16 photos uploaded, and not one of them featured Turbo. And I was like, "Oh, that's a bit strange. Why isn't Turbo in the training run?" And then he said what he said to Joey, and I was like, "Oh, he fucked his other knee. He fucked his knee yesterday. Didn't train. Is now strapped. He didn't look good from the get go. Like just from minute one, he was a little bit ginger." And then in about the 25th, 30th minute, mate, I see him in the dead ball line on his back, trainer strapping the other knee. I'm like, whoa, what's going on? And then at halftime, it said he's popped his MCL.
Yeah. I mean, whatever happened during the week, it's still rotten luck for Turbo. Like,
it's brutal.
Like,
but like, this is the thing. Like, it's hard when you make content like we do. It's hard to take a victory lap at the best of times because everyone calls you a cocky prick. Oh, stop being so smug. Blah blah blah. But yet, when we're wrong, people are very happy to give it to us. So we can't have it both ways. So it's tough there. But then, like, we all three of us said sell Turbo 3 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago, whatever.
All three of us did sell Turbo.
Yeah. We were all like, we're selling Turbo, and everyone's like, you're fucking insane. You're crazy. It's a waste of a trade. And I understand the injuries aren't correlated, and it is bad luck. But there's luck and there's not. It's a guy that's had 7 hamstring issues, 2 ankle issues, a hip issue, and a groin issue. That's 11 issues. And he's had a flare up, and we're like, oh, fuck. He doesn't play last week. There's no guarantee he plays against the Eels, so we sell. Obviously, it's fantastic for us because we're not stuck with it. But at what point is that not luck? And what point is that being like, there's so many other factors that are making a decision for us?
Yeah, and I'm a huge NBA guy. And every year I go into the draft because, of course, the way that you play that format is like draft with NRL. And I don't like to make decisions based on injury.
No, you like to have a mental picture in your head being like, I'm picking Turbo because it's the what if, isn't it, mate? Like, what if Wemby plays the whole season? What if AD plays the whole season? What if Turbo plays 24 games this year? Yeah.
And I get that, but when he has a hamstring injury with however many hamstring injuries he's had, like, of course I was watching them run out on the field like this, but yeah, like you couldn't. Like those guys that captain Turbo, like it was the ultimate risk, but it's not like you got gypped. You made a mad punt this week and it didn't work out.
I stand by the fact that if you held Turbo, he was the right captain this week. He was.
Yep.
If you decided to hell, he was 100% the captain. And Henry was in my DMs asking me like, surely you're taking the piss with this, with like saying it's a good thing to sell Turbo. And he's asking like, if you're wondering with injuries, why'd you start with him? Because it's one trade to get him out. It's not, bringing him in then trading him out, wasting two. And as we just said, it's the what if. What if Turbo is fit the whole season? Is it 2021 all over again when he was fit pretty much for 18 games in a row? Like. It is the what if, but the thing is, when stuff changes, when he does a hammy so early in the season, very, very innocuously, by the way, and then he's a 50-50 chance at playing, when Manly initially said he's fine, and then it was, he's actually 50-50. The reason why I sold is because last year, the exact same fucking thing happened. He was not well. Manly said, no, he's sweet. Played for about 3 weeks, averaged 55 across 3 weeks, and then did a groin, was out for 6 weeks. I can no longer trust Manly when it comes to Tom Trbojevic injury-related news. And that is the be-all and end-all, and that is why I sold.
Look, I'm with you. Lehigh Hopewadi, that is 50 minutes at fullback for his 87. We're talking about sells. Tom Trbojevic is one of them. If we're talking about buys, Lehigh Hopewadi might be.
Yeah, you reckon?
Might be it. Might be another one. I mean, yeah, lining in it. Apparently, fullbacks at Manly score really well. So I've heard. And Hopewadi's great every time he's been at the back. So yeah, look, I could get around. And to adding him, Ruben Garrick for owners and non-owners, 64. You'd probably be pretty happy.
It's a win-win for both. It's a win. If you said, "Hey, Turbo's out," non-owners are like, "Fuck, I'll take 64." And before the game, if you said to me as non-owner, "Hey, Garrick scores 64," I'd be like, "I guess it's Eels." Fuck.
Yeah, perfect.
Sign me up. Where do I have to sign, mate? Hamoli Olakau'atu, he becomes very, very relevant now because we've seen the stats with him without Turbo. He averages something like nearly 80 points a game without Turbo in the side. He becomes very, very hot property.
Yeah, 100%. It's him. Like, I don't own Jacob Preston, so it's like him and Jacob Preston and Keon Kolomatangi that start to come into play. I've started to get some puff out of your safe paths and some of the mid-range guys like that. It's time to go shopping, and yeah, Molly Olakau'atu might be right at the top of my list.
Hang on, Lyle just said Garrick updates to 80. I need to fucking. Do you mean now, or are we just praying he does? Oh, he might. I mean, obviously you have that like the controversial like try assist, where like Turbo made the sweep but then gave it to Garrick. It's a weird one. Like, I'm not fussed either way. In saying that though, Turbo got nothing for his Burbo try assist as well. Like, he'll get a try contribution. So yeah, I mean, I'm not too fussed either way. If Garrick gets it, Turbo loses it. If Turbo keeps it, Garrick doesn't get it. Like, for me, it's a win-win. Apart from that, mate, not a huge amount to talk about here. Eels, Joe O, 83 points. Shout out to him. Paulo, 65. Sure, whatever. Jermaine Hopgood, 52. This fraud, this absolute fucking fraud. I held him last week because he showed me signs of life. I traded Preston, and that was a fucking 70-point swing. That takes me to 1250, and I have a massive score this week. It's frustrating as hell. I don't know what to do with him. I think he updates to around 60, but like, man, he's so frustrating.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a happy non-owner, so I can't really relate. Like, when you don't own Jermaine Hopgood, you hardly watch like this middle that like is not that flashy. Like, he's like a poor man's Isaiah Yo. But yeah, look, I would be hitting panic stations a little bit with Hopgood.
Matt, we have 420 people in the live chat. Nice. I want to know, the 420 of you that are watching, jump in the comments. I want to know, are you done with Turbo now? Forever? Like nothing could ever bring you back on side. Like, I need to know if you're just done with Tom Trbojevic as an option, because for me, I think if he's fit, I still have to pick him, but I can understand why people are burnt. Mate, Eels, toothless. I mean, I will say, shout out to Sean Lane, because I had Parramatta at plus 19.5 for big money. and they were down by 20. So my bet's losing by half a point with 30 seconds on the clock. Sean Lane strolls over for a try to have my bet cash. So we do love that. Last game of the week.
Can I just say one thing? Everybody that's held Iongi, I've bought Iongi this week, and everybody was blessed with junk with Iongi every single week except this week, the one I got on.
Oh, yeah, you bought him this week. Oh, yeah, that sucks to be you. I sold him this week. So
I went turbo to Iongi. I was able to do like.
Okay,
honestly,
so you made. Imagine if I told you that Iongi scores 29 and you make points out of that.
Yeah, I made 20K. That's great.
Crazy. Mate, Tigers Warriors 24-26. As a Tigers fan of footy, this game was frustrating as hell. Like we should have won. I'm not going to blame it on Fat Tape. I'm not going to blame it on like Chance or Klukstar, like milking a penalty. Like it's just we had a chance to win. We didn't win. Terrell May, 97. Mate, I keep posting this on Twitter. Watching him as closely as I do now as a Tigers fan gives me so much fucking admiration for Payne Haas, because I think we just become we just became like normal to what Payne Haas did week in, week out for 6 years. But now he's just like watching Terrell do it. I'm like, fuck, this is what Payne does every week.
Yeah, it was so good, but it was wet weather footy too. Like it was rainy. It was wanting to get on with your forwards, and you even see that with Wade Egan and Fanua Pole and Alex Seyfarth.
Bad day to be a PPM, mate. They got belittled.
Yeah, exactly. But look, did May play 80 minutes also?
I don't know. Like the NRL SC stats thing said he came off for like 5 minutes, but I think he was at least 75. I'll quickly check, but yeah, no, he's that guy. Like he's just a dog. Like I don't like being a hindsight hero, but is he the most obvious Supercoach pick ever?
Yeah, honestly, like he was outside of Luke Metcalf, he was probably the first person added this year.
Yeah. Terrell played 81 minutes, so like 80 in a couple of seconds. So
yeah, perfect. And looked like the best player on the park all game.
Oh yeah, 100%. Like had a big challenge to step up to James Fisher-Harris and Mitch Barnett. And I think he did that, and so I think Fanua Pole did that as well. Like he played 70 minutes and was unreal. So both those guys locked in. Alex Seyfarth, 84. What a man! Just get that gravy train ticket along. He's gonna have a 75 and an 84 in his rolling average, with a break even next week of 2. All aboard.
Yeah. Unreal. He was one that I was sitting on the fence with all preseason, but very happy that I got him, and very happy that like I didn't hit that rage trade that a lot of people did. I think like it's hard being a Tigers fan through a loss like that.
Yeah.
But like I started to like, so the Warriors I think actually played pretty good today. Outside of a couple drop balls from like Mitch Barnett. I thought he was pretty average and some stuff like that. But I do think like I at one point popped into Sportsbet to see if I could bet on Tigers or Warriors to make the 8. Like they're starting to play some decent footy, and like Luai is such a presence. Like, and it's so hard from a Supercoach standpoint to sit here and go, "Oh, Luai scored 20 Supercoach points," because you can't.
He was one of the best players apart for us. But it's the Cooper Cronk syndrome, isn't it? Like so influential to a team, but so poor for Supercoach. He made 2 defensive massive reads, which I thought won us the game at the time. But yeah, it's just not correlating to scoring, and that happens. Sell him. He's playing a different role at 7 for the Tigers as what he was for Penrith. So he's very much hands off. He's much more directing traffic, directing shape, getting Galvin good ball, getting Bull a good ball. But yeah, you have to sell him, don't you?
Yeah, you have to. I already have. I had him in Dream Team, Fantasy, and Supercoach, and I've sold him. I tell you what, one person that I was wrong about, and it's Lockie Galvin. I thought Luai was just going to come in and mad dog this kid, but look, Lockie Galvin is still it's almost as if Luai's empowered Lockie Galvin to be a better football player.
Yeah. I don't know. Like I'm torn with Galvin. Like I've been pretty vocal with the fact that I don't think Galvin's the best 5'8" at our club. I think it's Latu Fanu, but no one wants to hear me ramble about Tigers chat. We're here for Supercoach. But apart from that, mate, Tigers didn't do a whole lot for a Supercoach standpoint. Obviously, Adam Dewey, a very, very late out. Jack Bird came into the centres, so we will see. Tigers think it's going to be a low-grade groin for Dewey, so 1 to 3 weeks. Tigers also said that with Jarrell Skelton, who was very, very close to playing this week. So Dewey could be in next week, or it could be round 6. Skelton will be back next week for anyone that did hold as well. I think he was a big miss today. Obviously, Far Tape didn't have the greatest game, and yeah, it is what it is. For the Wires, mate, old Wigan with a 90-pointer. There's some Wigan chat happening in our WhatsApp group. Is he a guy that people should be looking at? He's going to go up about 71K this week, so he'll be about 610.
I
don't know if I love
Harry
paying,
Grant money. No,
I don't know if I love paying over 600K for Wigan.
Lose my number. No, it's not like it's great if you're one of the 12 people that owned him. It's cool, and like I get involved in some like daily fantasy sports and stuff like that, and Wade Egan is always a bit of a punt.
Some more DFS.
Yeah, 100%. But look, getting on Wade, like even like Game Day Squad, one of our major sponsors at the moment. Like I've went and bought some Wade Egan cards, and like at any given week, the way that format is Wade Egan can be unreal. But like, no, you don't want him for Supercoach. You don't pay 600K for Wade Egan for Supercoach. If you're worried about Turbo when it comes to injuries, let's talk about Wade Egan's HIAs. But just appreciate that he is a great hooker that played really well today. But I have some question marks about Clark and Metcalf as owners.
Oh, yeah. I just want to highlight my love child Deadly in the chat. He's saying, I cheated in draft. Matty, I just want to read you out some players I had in my draft team this week. I had the Groot, who scored 21. I had Adam Reynolds, who scored 24. I had Jack Howarth, who scored 29. And I still beat Deadly by about 50 points. So,
yeah, nice.
How dare to be Deadly, isn't it?
Fuck.
How
many points did you score in draft this week?
In our Insight Comp, 772, which is a pretty good draft score. I had Jack Cole off the waivers. I had Fanua Bole and Terrell May as my props.
So I've scored, like, I was pretty vocal in the fact that I've got, like, Preston, Ricky, all those guys. I scored over 800 in all of my draft leagues this week.
Oh, that's good. That's a big score, especially for a 12-man, which is what we play.
Yeah, that's some weird flexing. But, yeah, look, let's not glaze Mattrix anymore. Aaron Clark, 55.
Yeah. You said you want to have chat about Aaron Clark. I understand it. I thought with no Dylan Walker that they would go to him more, but it looked like they were, Jackson Fours playing through the middle a bit more, and like obviously a guy like Halasima was unreal, won them the game. So minutes just aren't there for Clark. I mean, you're getting what you expected. I think we projected him to score about 55 in the preseason, but it's just annoying, isn't it?
Yeah, and the problem is like with how good all the other front row forwards are, and I'm playing him as my front row forward 3 at the moment because I'm considering Tino a 2RF, and I enjoy the flexibility, but if he hits 500K, I think it's like time to like hit the little cash out button on Aaron Clark. He's going to go up in cash probably to 450. There's maybe a little bit more cash growth, but yeah, look, maybe it's just time to get rid of Aaron Clark. Luke Metcalf, I've been his biggest fan when they're cooking. Luke Metcalf's been good. Obviously a goal kicking 5'8" halfback, whatever you want to call it, in where I considered 5'8" dismal this year. Like that try that, like he got the line break and everything for that. He's going to go up to 500K this week, but 500K might be Luke Metcalf nowadays. Do you think that, Josh?
Yeah, like I was pretty keen to sell him, but he's got a 55. That was with the try. So what's that? 38 points without the try, which is probably what we expect for a halfback with no try involvement. Does have a break even of 78. I believe they have the bye next week. So you can sell. You don't have to. He's going to be going up 44K, which would take him to about 500, as you said. So it's I don't know. It depends on Dewey for me. Like, if he's out long term, then I'll probably have to look at moving him on. But I probably want to have a playable 5'8" next week. So yeah, probably will be taking an AE, but not a whole lot else to talk about there from the Wires. I think they missed a trick by not having Awi Leotawa just run at Jack Bird all day. But hey, they got the win, and 2 points for them away from home is a big win. But mate, I guess around the grounds, how'd you go in fantasy? How'd you go in DT?
Oh, terrible in Dream Team because I captain Turbo. I like to get spicy in like my formats that I don't care as much about. So yeah, look, Captain Turbo in that one. So 718 there for me. And when it comes to fantasy, I captain Payne Haas. So I of course have Terrell May and everything in that. 830, pretty happy like with your Johnny Batemans, your Terrell Mays, your Payne Haas, and
you got
even
Johnny Bay in fantasy, do you?
Yeah, and Brimo and Campbell and like I should be a fantasy podcaster, to be honest.
Yeah, mate, that's fair. I finished up with 849 in fantasy and ticked over the 1,000 barrier in DT. So it was a good week in DT. But mate, that's going to wrap us up for round 4. We'll have Brano back. Is he back Tuesday?
No, he's not back. He's away for the week. So you've got Josh and Mattrix for Tuesday and Wednesday, and back next Sunday for Brano. Probably a well-deserved week off, to be honest. Organising us, it's like herding cats sometimes.
It's just convenient that he is forgoing the old week. The one time we introduced it,
he didn't actually have this trip booked until about
an hour and a half ago.
Yeah, no, he was that far behind us that he booked it yesterday.
Mate, it's been a pleasure. We'll do it all again on Tuesday for the Q&A. We do have one super chat before we finish up, mate. I don't believe you have a standard squeeze on. I don't think you have a standard squeeze on you at the moment, but you do have some. Oh no, you do. There we go. So, Corey, shout out for the $3. Looking for a standard squeeze shot from Mattrix to wrap up the night. Over 420 people watching at the moment, which is insane. We thank you for your continued support. If you own Turbo, I am very sorry, but onwards and upwards.
Cheerio.